Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Chris with Willis Family Reptiles. I'm back after a while being away. I unfortunately had a situation where I lost a few of my snakes. Two of my gravid females as well as my baby boy Loki passed away. I really don't feel like getting into a discussion about that. Point is, it hit me hard. For a while I've just been completely out of it, and I'm getting myself together, I'm coming to terms with everything, and I'm getting back on track. So I figured it's time to go ahead and jump back into making videos. One of my females that was gravid did not pass away. Her name is Rand. She's in the top bin of the rack over here. So I'll be showing her off to y'all and keeping y'all up to date with what's going on with her, as well as other things. Hoping to get back in the swing of making videos again. Yeah, so this video is going to be a update video. Show you what I've done in the snake room here as I've redesigned my racks. More or less, I got rid of the melamine rack as it was absorbing moisture. I was having problems with warping and swelling, and the drawers, I couldn't get the snake bins open without spilling the water all over the place, yanking the snake around, stressing them out. So that rack had to go. I built a simple basic set that I'm using now, and I'll show that to y'all in just a moment. So this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and show the room a little bit, show the updates there, and then I'm going to go through and I'm going to show the collection one by one, and I'm going to be doing a live feeding as I'm showing them off. I do feed live, so if that makes you uncomfortable, please stop the video. Maybe another time I'll do a video that's just showing off the collection without feeding. But for now, let's go ahead and jump right into it. That corner is going to be I'm going to figure out something. I might be doing away with that cart and putting a table here that'll fit within the door jamb, because as you can see, the cart is wider than the space I have in that corner. So I'm moving over a tripod for the videos. I have my storage over here now. The young ones are still over here. They are doing well. I'll be showing them off in a minute. They actually just ate yesterday, so they won't be getting fed today, but I will show them off. I'm pretty sure they've spilt their water and need to have a little cleanup anyways. Inside of here, this side's just storage for now. Gonna be setting that up a little bit better. And here I have everything for the leopard geckos right up top for their feeding. A little substrate in the back. Got some worms getting gut loaded now. They're in there somewhere. Oh, there they are. Got a couple wax worms in there and some mealworms. Their feed dishes, vitamins in there. Coffee creamer bottle. I just have a pre-mixed solution of the vitamins and calcium, and I throw the worms into the container right there and shake them up inside the mixture just to get them good and coated. Down here, old lamp, extra water bowls, scales, tongs, hook, temp gun, little cheap handheld temp gun. Point, shoot, that's it. Spare bins, cleaning stuff back there, hand sanitizer. Bin, this one's notebooks with some information in it. Sponge I use for some cleaning. Not really, that one has been sitting in here for a little while. I'm going to be using a new one soon. Spare supplies. Old water dish for Scarlet before she got bigger. Actually, no, I think that one used to be Loki's when he was in an aquarium. Bags, heat tape. I keep old used things of heat tape that are still wired up. I do keep them just because in an emergency situation, if I have an issue where for some reason I'm losing heat here, I have heat tape that I can hook up and start getting them heat. Just as well, I have a roll of heat cable right here as well. Very similar reason. These are just for baby hatchling snakes or the geckos when they need a fresh hide. Random supplies down there. So here I have my new racks. Very simple setup. The design for these is all over YouTube if you want to look it up. Very effective. I have the 8 racks for the 28 quart here and 4 41 quarts over here. Sitting on top of those is my big tank for my girl Scarlet in there, who's soaking very happily in the water. That's old, just hasn't been torn down yet. The geckos are kept there. They're in need of clean out. Me and my son are going to be doing that later on today. And the incubator is sitting right underneath of that. Step back a little bit over here. On the windowsill, I keep the rodents' food, shavings, and water. And then the rats in the corner as normal. The rat setup's changed a little bit in the fact that I've decided to get rid of all the fancy rats. Those two bins are what's left of the babies that I haven't fed off yet, and that's my last breeding pair. Other than that, African soft furs. That bin right there is not a breeding pair. It's just got some young ones in it that are just getting big for eating. You know how that mess goes. So I haven't started feeding the African soft furs yet. I got the breeding groups good. I'm going to be starting to feed the African soft furs once I dwindle down the fancy rats a little bit. I'm not going to completely get rid of all my fancy rats until after I've got all my snakes switched over to the African soft furs. That way I can make sure that they're all going to accept them. Other than that, let's go ahead and get started on the, well, not feeding yet. Let me go ahead and show you the hatchlings from the reptile expo that I went to. Alright, we'll be starting with the male phantom that I picked up. This is a pretty little boy here. Of course, he's drenched his container by knocking over his water dish. He's growing fairly nicely. Hasn't put on a whole lot of weight yet, but that's fine. Not rushing him too much. He eats regularly. He has not turned down a meal for me yet. The hatchlings are horrible about knocking over their water dishes, might I add. Granted, I'm sure I could do a better system. I know a lot of people do the PVC couplings with water dishes, disposable water dishes. I really should do that. I just haven't been doing it yet. I won't be going and refilling water in every single one of the snakes, just these hatchlings that have turned it over. Alright, buddy. Come here for a second. He's always hiding his head, so while I got it out, let's give you a little shot there. Pretty boy. Great colors. So that's him. Next time I do a collection video, I'll do it with weight as well. I'll put them on the scales so you can see exactly how much they're growing from the first video. My last video was the first video they were in, and it displays the weights they were at when I got them. So the second one here is the male mystic. Some of these guys do have a really high feeding response, so don't be surprised if they try to strike at me. But since they all ate just yesterday, they should be relatively calm. I say that with this one specifically because he has come the closest out of all of them to actually getting me, so. That's him. Another pretty boy. I find that the mystic is very similar to the phantom. However, you will notice that the phantom is a bit of a brighter snake overall. This one was good and did not spill its water. However, it looks like he did just have a shed since yesterday. I'm sure if I unraveled that, it'd be a perfect shed. No point really messing with it. So yeah, let's move right on along. Alrighty, next up will be the female butter. Now, she was the smallest of all of them when I got her, and she still is. But she has grown a bit at least. And she's actually looking like she might shed soon. You spilled your water, but looks like it'll be alright. Come here, girl. Bring your head up so that we can get a look at you. She's a beauty. Unfortunately, she's getting ready to shed. Her colors are slightly dulled out, so it won't necessarily look nothing too fantastic as far as how bright she really gets. But still, an absolutely gorgeous snake. That, and of course, the cameras don't show off the full color. Anytime I've recorded my snakes, I've noticed that the colors that show up on camera are nowhere near what they are in person. The camera's not picking up really any of the yellowing or orange that's in her. I say any, it picks up some, but let me see if I can get the camera to pick it up any. You can tell there's actually really nice orange in the center here, right inside these lines, and the camera just barely seems to pick it up. Would help if it would focus. There we go. Yeah, the camera really just doesn't pick up that orange. So yeah, I really do wish that y'all could see that. Maybe if my YouTube channel grows to be an actual popular channel, I'll get a camera that can pick that up. In the meantime, however, straight up, I have a Galaxy S7, and I use the camera from that. That's right, I am recording with my phone. Nothing special. YouTubers all over the place are probably cringing at that right now. What's going on? This is the female Inchi, and she is another bitey one. So this girl is my female Inchi. Ooh, hi there. And she is a high feeding response and will bite at me just about any time I try to take her out. But once you get her out, she's good. She's looking at something over there, and she's so determined to look over there that I can't get a good face shot of her. There we go. That's as close to there we go as I'm going to get. Alrighty. So yeah, she's growing nicely as well. She's getting a little bit of length to her, got a little bit of girth. Not much. That main fat part is right where she just ate yesterday. So let me go ahead and put her up. I don't want to stress them out too much. Like I said, they just ate yesterday, so they're all a little finicky right now. And that is it for the 4 hatchlings. I did pick up 2 others at the expo, but they were not hatchlings, so you'll see those here shortly. Alrighty, so now I'm getting ready to go ahead and start on the other snakes, as well as feeding them. So where to start? I guess we'll start right here. In fact, let me go ahead and get a rat ready. Now, you won't be seeing these guys as much just because I'm not going to take them out and handle them, otherwise they won't eat for me. They're already all very picky eaters, so quite a few of them probably won't eat for me, but we will see how that turns out. So this here is Eros, and Eros might not eat because he hasn't eaten in the last 2-3 weeks, so here's hoping. He's showing some interest. But the rat's tail's also splitting, so he might get loose. There you go. And there goes his tail with him. So there you go. Normally, rats will spin until the tip comes off of the rest. However, I was pinching down real hard so that wouldn't happen. And as you can see, it just took the rest of the tail out with it. So, on to the next one. That is Eros, by the way. He is my male Mojave. Up next is going to be Thor. And Thor is a male spider. This one's trying to come up on me, so I'm going to go ahead and do it this way. Oops, didn't mean to do that. So this one got loose in there with Thor, so I'm pretty sure Thor's going to go after him, though. Thor's generally pretty good about doing that. He got loose from my tongs. He was a bit more feisty than some of the others. So what I'm going to do is I don't want him to try getting out, so Thor's already sniffing around and starting to poke out. He'll be on the hunt soon, so I'm just going to close that off, and I'll check back up on them here shortly if I don't hear the squeal. So next up is going to be Dieger, who is another spider, another male spider. However, Dieger is supposedly 100% het albino. Now, Dieger has a habit of not eating unless it's dropped in with him. But we'll see if we can get him to take it from us. So Diego's is going to go run around loose in there with him as well. They do sometimes drop free from the tongs, in which case, when that happens, I let them fall in, I let them run around. The snakes usually kill them. I check on them, I don't leave them. 9 out of 10 times I'll hear the squeal before I even go to check on them. But we'll see how that goes. Each of them has been in this new rack for this is the second or third day, so they are not fully used to these tubs yet. So that might cause them to be a little bit less likely to eat. Anyways, next up we'll do Heimdall. Heimdall, okay, somebody got eaten because I just heard the squeal. Heimdall is a very finicky eater, and in fact, I'm going to have to kill a rat and leave it in there with him. I can't take a frozen, thawed rat and leave it in there with him and have him eat it. Sometimes he will, but most often he won't. I have to take a live rat, kill it first for him, and then put it in there. So I'm going to do that part off camera. Okay, so as you can see, I've knocked this one out really well. We'll offer it up first. It's still slightly alive. I can feel its tail trying to twitch on me. First, he might actually take it out of my hand today. It's very rare. Alrighty, so he doesn't want to take it out of my hand, no surprise there. Also, use your tongs. I sometimes use them, sometimes don't. Not a good way to be. So, we'll give him a few. His is already knocked out. Possibly not completely dead yet, so I'll check on him again in about a half an hour. If he's eaten the rat by then, great. If not, if the rat is still unconscious, at that point it's not unconscious, it's dead. And I'll just leave it in there until about a full hour, in which point if he still hasn't taken it, I'll take it out. Most of the snakes, I'll check on them a couple times, but I don't leave a live rat in there no more than 20-30 minutes, and then about another 20 minutes after I kill it from there. Okay, so yeah, that was Heimdall, like I had mentioned. He is a male pastel het pied. And next up is going to be Fulla. And Fulla here is another Mojave. Fulla's been on a little bit of a feeding strike as well. Oh no, she looks like she's going to go for it. If I remember correctly, she might have eaten last week. I don't really recall. That strike was hard to tell if it was a feeding strike or if it was a something's in my space strike. Yeah, that was more of a something's in my space strike. So she's not eating right now, so I will in turn offer to Freya, who I can almost guarantee will eat it because she's usually a very good eater. Ooh, you struck it. It's spinning, it's giving her trouble. There you go. And again, off with the tail. When they spin like that, and they're striking wildly, like Freya, I know Freya's pretty good. She's pretty good about not hitting my hand, but that's when you would want to use the tongs. Spinning like that with Fulla, I really should not have been using my hand with Fulla, because she will, if she wants to eat and she gets in the habit of striking every which direction looking for the spinning rat, she will sometimes go up towards the hand. So yeah, Fulla I will offer again before the night is out, just to give her a second chance to see if she wants to eat. Like I said, I think she might have eaten for me last week, I really don't recall. However, other than that, she's been on a feeding strike for a couple of weeks now. Okay, so moving on here, let's get to the rest of them. Now then, Ran I will not be feeding. Ran is not eating. She hasn't been eating. She is my other gravid female that I mentioned to you. Ran is a het pied, otherwise normal, so no visual morph to her, other than a little bit of tracks on her underbelly. And I paired her up primarily with Heimdall, my pastel het pied. I did not see any locks. So I did put Thor in with her, and Thor went in with her 3 times, and out of the 3 times, I only saw 1 lock. So my guess is that either Thor got a hold of her and we're going to have some spiders, possible het pides. But it's possible that Heimdall got to her and I just didn't see it. For all I know, I could end up with a dual-sired clutch. Anyways, underneath the Ran is Lavin. She is another het pied, otherwise completely normal. She's bleeding a lot because she jumped out of the tongs and I had to kind of step on her head a little bit to get her to stop from running underneath the racks. That happens sometimes. If you're going to feed live and have live racks, be ready to be quick on the response when they try to escape, because they will. Usually Lavin has a pretty good feeding response, but again, it might have to do with the fact that it's a new rack. I'll get in here and clean up the blood later. But for now, I'm still going to offer and see if she takes. Alright, so Lavin, I will leave it in there with her. Give her a chance to decide that she wants it. Alright, so these next two girls are generally extremely good eaters as well. Their feeding response, in fact, was so high that I've been working with them trying to dial it down because I could not open the tub without getting instantly struck at if the tub was open so much as a crack. I would literally open the tub just a crack, not even enough for them to fit their head through, and they'd already be striking at that crack. I also need to get new feeding tongs. I know you've probably noticed I've been dropping a few of them. These tongs are actually broken and just barely holding together. So, in fact, I think I just finished them off. I did. So yeah, wonderful. Right in the middle of feeding. Why did I bother feeling like I had to show you all that? The only set of tongs I have. And another spinner. Of course, I just got through talking about how huge of a feeding response y'all have, and you're not going to come after it. What's up with that, homie? She's just slowly sinking her head further and further in. That's funny. So I'm going to leave her right in there. Gave her a little crush to the head, so she won't be causing any problems for us. So yeah, that girl was one of my newer pickups from the expo. I've named her Hlyn, and she is heterozygous for caramel albino. This last one is Snotra, and she is a female that is a yellow belly. So she's my first yellow belly, and let's see if she does any better on the feeding. I literally just talked these two up about their feeding response, and I know, like I said, I've been working on them, but not enough that they should have been scared like that. When I say I've been working on them, I mean they go poking their head out, and I just open it a crack, and they're striking at it already, and I just stick the hook in. Let's see if I can get this girl to eat. Close enough for you? She's showing interest. She's just taking her sweet time about it. I hope this is in frame of the camera. Come on. There you go. Took her a minute to strike, but when she struck hard. Can you get... There we go. Just enough clearance to get that closed. Alrighty then. So yeah, everybody, that's the last of them. But yeah, that's all the snakes I have. So again, to go back over each of them, there was the male Phantom and male Mystic. I had the female Butter and the female Inchi. Down here I had Eros, the male Mojave. I had Thor, the male Spider. Jaeger, the male Spider, who is het for albino. Then I had... Who's there again? Oh yeah, Heimdall. Heimdall, who is a pastel het pied. Above him was Fula, my Mojave female. Freya, my lesser female, was above her. Ran in here, who is my female het albino, or I'm sorry, het pied, who's currently gravid. I'm not showing her off just because I've already disturbed her once or twice today checking on her. I don't want to disturb her too much. Beneath her is another het pied, and that's Lavin, female het pied. Below her is my het caramel, Hlyn, female het caramel. And below her is my female yellow belly, which is Sinutra. Other than that, I probably won't cut the camera back on for this, but I will go back through, check and make sure all the live ones are dead, give them a little bit more time to eat them once I know that they're confirmed dead, and then take them out if they haven't eaten them after a while. You've pretty much been seeing the fancy rats. Let's go to one of my breeding groups. They're not as likely to try and legitimately escape. Don't know what you were doing. Looked like you were humping air. That's big boy Zeus. He's old, getting roughed up there. Back behind him, we've got some rat pups. As you can see, he's coming right up to me, sniffing my thumb. These guys are spoiled. They're my breeders. So, they're pretty well behaved and tamed. Hell, even the ones down there don't never try to bite me or nothing. They just try to escape. And this is a breeding colony here who has been actively breeding, as you can tell from babies, African soft fur babies. And there might be some young ones in there, I think, somewhere that need to actually come out. Let me see here. This is another breeding colony. I got to go through them and remove some and move some around. All of these guys need to be cleaned. They're tubs. The only reason it hasn't been done yet is because I've been very busy over the last couple days. Normally I try to make sure I clean them out once a week, usually on the weekend. They'll probably get done tonight. The last current breeding group. And do they have babies in there? Yep, they... Is that what I'm seeing? No, that's not. Okay, maybe not. Okay. And then this last bin right here, that one down there is empty. This one is just babies that are growing old. These ones are going to be feeders. They're not planned to be used as breeders anytime soon. They're just going to be getting fed off. That bottom bin is what I was feeding out of today. It's almost empty. I think I've got about 5 or 6 left in there. Once I empty that one, I'll probably feed off about... See them all trying to cram in there? It's like overstuffed because they want to fit into the one hide. Then there's a couple more back there. Not many. I don't let them stay overstuffed in here. I'll feed off maybe half of those, and then I'll stop feeding off all of the fancy rats, and I'll start trying to switch everything over to the African soft furs. I don't want to get rid of all the fancy rats in case the some of my snakes don't take to the African soft furs. Some of them may decide that they don't want that kind of rat. Everybody says don't be careful giving them African soft furs because they could imprint. The fact of the matter is, they can imprint on the fancy rats. They're less likely to, from my understanding. But, yeah, the ball pythons might not take African soft furs because they've already imprinted on the fancy rats. I don't know. So, I've got one breeding group who's still breeding. I've got a whole bunch of them. I'm still going to feed off about half of the feeders that I have left before I start feeding off the African soft furs. The reason I'm switching over to African soft furs completely is for a few main reasons. One, they do not stink or make near the mess as the fancy rats do. The African soft furs don't eat or drink as much, so they're easier to maintain. Another reason I want to switch to the African soft furs is they actually provide more protein in a smaller package. And the smaller package is the other reason. First off, these ones full grown don't get bigger than a small rat. Of the fancy rats. Well, full grown, big, fat, and fluffy, they're about the size they're about a small plus, right in between a small and a medium fancy rat. But they'll, at that full grown state, they'll pack the protein of a large rat. So, the African soft furs offer more to sustain them as far as protein goes, and their size will never get too big for the ball pythons. These guys, if I'm producing faster than I'm feeding, I end up with a stockpile, and the stockpile is still growing in age and size, so they get too big. I no longer even have the option to feed them to my ball pythons. Scarlet will still eat them, but Scarlet doesn't eat often enough. She's only one boa, you know? I end up with too many large rats, and at first I used that to grow my breeding colonies up even more, but then I was just producing more, and it became a problem there. So I've just slowly dwindled them down, gotten rid of them, whatnot. But yeah, these guys will always be just the right size. They'll either be a little too small or too young, in which case I give them to the younger ball pythons, or at their adult full-grown size, they're good for a juvenile to a full-grown adult ball python, which is perfect. And because they do offer more protein, they're still good for scarlet as well. So yeah, that's going to wrap up this video. I'm sure it's been a long one. I'm sorry. Yeah, please like, subscribe. Feel free to share my video if you like the content. My biggest thing is please comment. Comments are what really brought my attention to the fact that I needed to get back to YouTube, was people commenting on my videos. While I've been on a break, I had still popped on occasionally to check that.
Hi.
Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Chris again.
And Lenny.
And Lenny, Willis Family Reptiles. Okay, so I know we're right in the middle of a video and shit just changed. My battery died. Yeah, go figure. So, but I'd like for y'all to pipe in, talk to me. Give me some suggestions on things as far as videos, but also give me some suggestions on what y'all think and what y'all do as far as caring for your reptiles goes. Like, do y'all do things differently than me? Do y'all use different materials? Anyways, yeah. Also, sorry about the lighting. The lighting, I know, was horrible. I didn't realize that at the time of recording until later, so kind of just gonna have to deal with it.
Hey.
I'm a goofy child. Yep, this is Lenny. Say hi. Yeah, you know you want to say hi. You want to say anything else?
Blah blah black sheep.
All right, weirdo. We are actually going to be doing his geckos later. Might be tomorrow just because it's gotten late and he has school tomorrow. So we might do the geckos tomorrow. Like I'd shown him early in the video briefly, I think. They need to be cleaned out, and tomorrow's feed day for them. We have some waxworms and mealworms currently gut loading, and tomorrow's feed day. Isn't that right, buddy?
That.
Yep. Why are you playing? Kids, man, kids. So yeah, y'all have a good one. Looking forward to hearing from y'all.
Hi.
Y'all have a good day. Can you say anything other than hi?
Bye. Bye. Bye.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Blah blah black sheep.